I'm a self-confessed rice fanatic, but guys, I've been missing out on one of the greatest rice dishes of all time. This is Timman Bagilla, an Iraqi and Persian rice that's completely changed my cooking game. It's crazy how some fresh herbs and broad beans can transform plain rice into something this tasty. And trust me, you'll want to stick around, because once you try this with my Iraqi style chicken bake, you'll never look at plain rice the same way.
Alright, to get started you'll need 1 cup of basmati rice. This rice is Sella basmati, which puffs up to this large size and gives you these really nice fluffy grains. And to guarantee that it's fluffy, you need to remove the excess starch. So add some room temperature water to the rice and then give it about 3 to 4 washes, each time changing the water until it stays clear. After that, drain out the water and then pour over some new clean water and let the rice soak for about 30 minutes. Doing this lets the rice absorb the water nice and slowly so it doesn't crack while it's cooking. And while it's soaking, you can prep the veg. All you need is half an onion, which you'll dice into nice and small pieces, and then you'll need 50 grams of dill. Trim off the thick stalks, then give it a quick chop. The other thing you'll need is some green broad beans. You can get these fresh in season or frozen at the supermarket, but if you can't find them, just replace them with edamame or even peas. Add 150 grams to a bowl, then pour over some really hot water and let them defrost. Give them a minute and then you need to peel the skins off of each one. You want to basically grab it and pinch the skin together and then just squeeze the bean out. And then once they're peeled, it's worth taking a second to split each of the beans in half. And once that's done, it's time to build the aromatic base for the rice. Head over to the stove and place a stainless steel pot on medium-high heat. To that you'll add 1 tablespoon of vegetable oil and then you'll add in the chopped onions. Saute these for about 5 to 6 minutes until the edges start to turn golden. Once they do, add in 1 clove of minced garlic and then cook off the raw flavour for about 30 seconds until it's nice and fragrant. You can then add in the broad beans and then about 2/3 of the chopped dill. You'll want to saute these together for about 2 minutes until the dill and beans have released their moisture and the dill is sticking to the pan. At this point it should smell pretty fantastic, and so grab the soaked rice and transfer it into the pot. You'll then season the rice with 1 teaspoon of salt and half a teaspoon of black pepper. Then the last thing you need is your cooking liquid. I'm using chicken stock, but water is just as good. Add a little bit to help you mix things together, then flatten out the rice. After that, pour in enough liquid so that it's just above the surface of the rice and then turn the heat up to high. Bring the pot up to a boil and then cover it with a lid and let it boil for 2 to 3 minutes. When the time is up, check on the rice. The liquid should have disappeared, and if so, you should turn the heat down to low. Cover the pot again with the lid and then let it steam, this time for 20 minutes. Now while that's busy steaming, let's make a flavour-packed Iraqi chicken bake to go with it. This gets cooked over a base of vegetables and it's super tasty. Start off by prepping the veg. We've got a couple of potatoes, tomatoes and peppers and then 1.5 onions. You can slice all of this thinly or dice them into cubes. Keep the diced potatoes on the smaller side so they don't take forever to cook, but then the tomatoes, peppers and onions can all be roughly chopped. Then you'll just transfer them all to an oven dish. We'll quickly coat these in about 1 tablespoon of vegetable oil, then add half a teaspoon of salt and half a teaspoon of black pepper. Give the veg a quick toss to coat and then set the tray aside. Now in terms of flavour, most of it will come from the wet rub that we'll coat the chicken in. To make it, add 15 grams of tomato paste to a bowl, then 3 cloves of minced garlic and about 1 tablespoon of vegetable oil. Season it with 2 teaspoons of salt, 1 teaspoon of black pepper, 1 teaspoon of paprika, half a teaspoon of turmeric, and finally half a teaspoon of cayenne pepper. You can also add an optional tablespoon of pomegranate molasses to give the dish some sweet, fruity tanginess. Then you just mix that all together until it's combined into a flavourful rub. That's the perfect thing to coat 4 chicken legs. Get the rub all over them on both sides and then transfer them to your tray and place them on top of the veg. If there's any excess marinade, add that as well, and then put a paper sheet over the chicken and tightly cover the dish with some foil. Transfer this to the oven and bake at 180 degrees Celsius with the fan on for about 45 to 60 minutes. And while that's cooking in the oven, the rice should be done, so check on it and then use a fork to fluff up the grains. Now turn off the heat and add the rest of the chopped dill, then gently fold it into the rice. It should smell fantastic and be super fluffy. All you've got to do now is wait for the chicken. Once that's been in there for 45 minutes, you want to take off the foil and paper and check on the potatoes. If they're cooked through, put the tray back in the oven and let the chicken brown for about 10 to 15 minutes, and then it's ready to serve. This chicken and veg is so flavourful and it was so easy to put together, but the star of this dish is the rice. It goes great with everything. It's really fragrant and fresh tasting, and I can see how this could work with any sort of main.
That's a must-try combo.